Hello, I'm Jason Howard, and welcome to the Inclusion of Special Populations Training 703 KAR 5:070. This is Module 2 that make up this 8-part training. Module 2 of this training looks at the various accommodation conditions identified in the Inclusion of Special Populations regulations. There are 13 conditions outlined in this regulation in total. For a comprehensive look at each condition, it would be best to consult the regulation. In this module, we will give a brief overview of each. So you will notice in conditions 1 through 7, you will note the page location for each condition and where it can be located in the regulation. Please reference the regulation for information specific to each one of these conditions. We will go through them briefly. So in the first section, for the first condition, the school staff must make available to the student accommodations used consistently as part of a routine instruction and classroom assessment, but may not instruct their students on when to use those accommodations. Proctors may review with the student the accommodations in their IEP, 504, or PSP, and they may remind students that proctors are there to provide the accommodations and revisit this information at the beginning of each test session. Students have the right to decline use of an accommodation. If a student has adult provided accommodations, which are like a reader or scribe or assistive technology, the adult or technology shall be in the testing room prior to testing and shall remain there during the entire testing period. In condition 2, accommodations for some students may be considered transitional strategies and should be phased as appropriate and as the student gains the skills necessary for an independent level of academic performance. In condition 3, accommodations shall not impact the content validity being measured. Accommodations outlined in this document are considered appropriate for state required content assessments when the accommodations are administered according to the directions in this document. In condition 4, accommodations shall be age appropriate and clearly described in the student's IEP, 504, or PSP. In condition 5, accommodations shall be the purpose of the student accessing the general education curriculum. Accommodations allow students to demonstrate what they know and can do independently. Accommodations shall in no way lead the student to the correct answer. In condition 6, accommodations shall be based on the individual needs of the student and not on a disability category. And in condition 7, accommodations do not substitute for high quality instructional practices. Continuing on with the next conditions. So you will notice that these also have page numbers and they reference the regulation for information specific to these conditions. So condition 8, evaluation information and ongoing progress data should support the need for accommodations in the specified area of need. Condition 9, accommodations shall be part of the student's ongoing instructional program and not introduced immediately prior to state required content assessments. In condition 10, caution shall be used prior to making the IEP, 504, or PSP changes related to accommodations near or within the state required content assessment windows. Changes may occur based on the time the annual meeting is to occur. It is important that any change is made and is supported through data and evidence. Condition number 11, the use of technology shall be the first accommodation considered before adult accommodation, such as a reader or scribe, if feasible. A shortage of workstation, software, physical space, or training shall not be used as a reason for failing to provide assistive technology as an accommodation. Condition 12, to ensure students' needs are met, test administrators and parties involved with testing the student shall be informed of all accommodations of the most recent version of the IEP, 504, or PSP prior to state required content assessments. And the last condition, changes in the administration of the assessment or recording of student responses shall be consistent with the services identified on the student's IEP, 504, or PSP. So this concludes Module 2 of this training series. In this module, we discussed the general conditions surrounding accommodations. For further detail on any specific accommodation we covered, please consult the regulation. If you have any questions about anything we discussed, please feel free to contact our office by emailing dacinfo@education.ky.gov or by calling 502-564-4394. Please proceed to Module 3 of this 8-part training.